What is up, everybody? So I cleaned up 2 bikes today. I cleaned up the winter bike. Might be already done riding it for the year, not sure. Might ride it another 300 miles. But either way, since I am gonna be going away for a week, I didn't want it to be sitting dirty. So I'm giving it at least a wipe down and getting the drivetrain all cleaned up. It'll probably get a final once over when I'm back if I don't think it's gonna get ridden again and then hung up. Then I also washed off the Gunnar because I've been riding that outside in the salty conditions, and it also still had that orange clay from Florida in parts on it. And the main reason for that is, well, 1, it needed it, but 2, I'm going to attempt the Fender install today. So as I said in the last video, I'm getting the Gunnar into what I'm considering spring mode. So I installed the jack the rack the other day, and I really like having that on there. And I'm gonna get into the details on why I chose to use that for my front bag in a little bit. And then next is the Portland Design Works fenders, which they sent me. I really like their packaging and everything, and kind of the attitude and all their materials. Because right here, you know, it says, thanks for buying these. We designed these beauties to be safe, functional, and beautiful on any bike. It will take some time and patience to get them set up just right. If time and patience are 2 things you're a bit short on, have your local bike shop do the installation. Blah, 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 it goes on, but I just love that, like, yeah. So I have a little bit of time because I do want to ride the bike today, and I never have any patience. So let's see how this goes. So I never really had any issues with my Planet bike fenders, but they did have to come off so I could fly with the bike to Florida. And since Portland Design Works sent me, I want to try these out and then I'll be able to compare them. I'm someone, if something is working, I'm not going to change it. But since I got these to try out, I think it's worth trying. And plus I'm gonna have another ATV project down the road, so the Planet bike fenders might go and live on that, or I swap them back out, whatever. So they're not gonna go to waste. So I've got all my little pieces and parts laid out here. Got my instructions sitting over here, which I'll grab. So gonna double check that we have everything so I don't start an installation and then have a pain of not being able to finish it, because I do wanna ride the bike today. So let's get to work. So the first thing is installing some stickers that they call anti-rattle stickers onto the fenders. Got 3 of these to do. Next up is the fender stays. Got a couple bolts there, these little black brackets. And then there's a little silver bracket on the bottom that they screw into with a 3mm. I grabbed the right Allen key, the 3mm, on the first try, and I think we could all agree that is completely unprecedented in the history of working on anything. Edmund, it's not dinner time. No, you just had lunch. Just because we're in the basement doesn't mean you eat. No. We got the stays on. It's one of those things where you wish you had a third hand somehow, but they're on. The next thing is to get the mud flaps put on. One of those little words of caution, if you are going to install these exact fenders, there are 2 different length bolts for the mud flaps and the stays, but they look almost the same. So just make sure you've used the longer one for the stays and the shorter ones for the mud flap. I only did it wrong with one, but I had to figure out which one and pull it back out. So yeah, one of those little things that just happens when you don't do this kind of thing all the time. All right, we are wheels off, and in my cheap bike stand, something I really should replace, the bike hand isn't exactly top of the line quality. So bought it a long, long time ago when I was a lot cheaper about my bike stuff. Time to install the front fender. I did remove, I had bolts in there before because I was running fenders and a rack. Then I took off the rack, reinstalled the fenders, but I only run the rack pretty much beginning of summer when we start to do some bike tours. So I probably will have to reset up the fender. I also had to change the other one considerably to hook it up to actually the 3 pack mounts because of where the fenders and the front rack conflicted. But I am not gonna worry about that now because there's months before I'm gonna be running panniers on this bag. So I'm gonna run the fender just with a clean setup the way they say to do it. And then when it comes time, when I wanna put a rack on this bike, I'll deal with it all then. I guess most fork crowns are way wider than mine because look at the bolt they gave. And this is the bolt that I took out, so there's no way I'm going to be able to use the hardware that came with this. Just way, way too long. So even in the lowest possible position, the fender is rubbing on the fork, probably the shape of this curved fork. So I don't think I'm gonna like that. I might try it today for the trial run, but I think I'm gonna have to see if these fenders can be dimpled. So we got a nut and a locking washer going in here. There's kind of like a set screw On this thing you undo and it allows these to slide up and down to fit it properly. So put both in place and then we'll tighten down the set screws to make sure it seems like that's straight. I'm also gonna have a little container labeled for the stuff I'm taking off that works with my rack. So when I go back to that, I have everything where I need it in case I need the little spacers and everything else that went with it. Oh, this is nice. Looks like I am actually gonna clear the brake, be able to use the hardware without any additions. You know how this stuff goes, you're always bending or trying to change stuff. I didn't tighten this down fully, it felt a little weird, and even though it said to, I'm gonna do that now. Front fender is on, obviously we don't know anything until we put the wheels back on. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the rear first though, then put it on the ground and make any adjustments I have to, and decide if I'm gonna finish this today and ride this bike today, or if I'm gonna do something else. Got the fender just sitting in here, obviously mounted this little bracket, and nothing else is attached, but supposed to get it lined up, then back this out and put the anti-rattle sticker on there. Since I do have a threaded chainstay thing, I'm going to use the hardware I had in there. I already have like a leather washer in there to dampen the vibrations a little bit. So I think that makes sense to go that route. If you don't, you could run, they give you zip ties to run through there, different bolts and nuts and all that kind of stuff. I'm lucky this will be simple and I've already got the part. So just have to crimp this down against the fenders. I'm gonna do this without the camera so I could do it right, but I just wanted to show what the next step was. Well, my luck ran out on this potentially being an easy install. The stays are too long and will have to be cut in the rear. You always hope you're gonna get lucky, but no, these stays all need to be cut way down to make this work. So I think that'll be tomorrow's project, and I'm just gonna ride a different bike today because I'm running out of time. All right, so I decided to ride Zwift tonight. I just did an 11-mile route. I just got a lot of stuff to do because I'm getting ready to leave in a couple days, so I decided that was the best thing. Tomorrow's gonna be 55, so I do wanna get this install done. I'm thinking to shorten the stays, I'm gonna try a pipe cutter. This one is small and it seems like it'll go far enough. It'll save me having to pull the fenders completely off, because if I was gonna use a hacksaw, I'm gonna pull them off so I don't accidentally bump it into something. I know other people have tried to suggest to me before to cut fenders with various tools. I've never had any luck trying to use any kind of hand tool. It just doesn't work for me. So I'm gonna see if this works and let you know how it goes. Okay, so that was being a ton of work and I still didn't get that far. I do have a Dremel. Someone suggested that in the Discord. Let's try with a Dremel because that's another thing I could use without messing up my bike. Why I thought my Dremel would be charged, which I haven't used in years, is beyond me, but put the Dremel attachment onto my regular drill. And now the realization that I just need to take the fenders off. Yeah, what a pain. What a pain to try and do this on the bike, as it's stupid. Yeah, whatever. That's how life goes.
Yep. Still ended up right here.
I didn't film everything, so just a little bit of an update. The rear fender, I hacksawed the stays down, and it's a pretty good line. It's not perfect, but I think I'm still gonna get it out for the test ride tomorrow, and then if I wanna tweak stuff after that, I will. But yeah, looking pretty good. Front, just hacked down the front stays, and now I'm about to install it and see what the line looks like. I do kind of like this method of sleeved adjustment. So basically you get the fenders adjusted in this sleeve, and then you tighten down this little set screw here, which I showed before. I know there's other fenders like this, but the ones I have are a little different. There's pluses and minuses to every system of adjusting fenders. The nice thing is too, you don't really have to clean up the stays when you cut them down because they are in these sleeves. So let's see if I can get this line good. So I'm in the phase of fender adjustment where it feels like no matter what you do, it's wrong. I kind of forgot about this. I haven't set up like fenders like newer on a bike for a while. And I'm getting frustrated. It's like you tighten the one side, loosen the other side. If you would have been watching this, you would have been laughing your ass off. So I'm gonna keep playing around with it and probably give up at some point and just ride tomorrow and deal with it later. I've got a vacation to get ready for. This is gonna be my last ride before I leave. So one final look, definitely not perfect, but as I said at the beginning, I am not a man of patience and I hit my limit. But I've got it good enough that nothing is under dramatic tension. You can see this is not straight, but nothing is also so off that it's gonna be rubbing. So it's good enough for my ride for tomorrow. So the fenders have been silent so far, which is nice. I mean, obviously not a ton of rough stuff, but I did ride over the grass and a few sewer lids and off a couple curbs. So yeah, +1 on that already. Now, not my number one concern. I think I do like them aesthetically too. I like the matte black, and I like kind of the flat top and curved then edges, you know, a little more than the fully rounded ones, or for the fully curved ones I had before. But not my number one concern, but it's nice when you put something on that looks nice. It makes you feel nice. So I'm heading to see if I can ride the Freedom Trail, which any day now will be connected right there, hopefully soon. But I don't know how much compressed snow stays on there. We'll see how it goes. I did look up the Strava of my buddy Scott, who rides to Kent every day. He's a professor, and he rode roads out there this morning. Curious if this is going to be open yet to connect here, or if we have to go up over the bridge and around. I kind of came a real stupid way here because I haven't ridden it in so long. I wasn't thinking about it. Is it open? Let's see. I don't want to ride in their new grass. Oh, right here. There could still be a fence up. Let's see if the homeless have made a hole in this fence. No, not opened yet. The trail looks pretty snowy up there. We're gonna try it because we might be able to cut right through it. Another one bites the dust. That's Akron for you. Oh boy, I hope we get another surface parking lot. Well, snow isn't bad in this area, but the trail's not open. We're gonna try and go up and around. Oh yeah, they're already dismantling the other bridge. This is pretty different since I was out here last. So first impressions of the Fenders is they're great, but you know, 7 miles of riding. I did find my way to the trail also. So the only thing next with the front fender is I just need to get it straighter. I don't know why I struggle with that so much. Definitely open to any tips or tricks, because I will not be messing with that, because as you see this video, I am out of state. Well, they have the trail closed ahead, so I'm going to turn it around here. 8 miles in. The other thing is, I know that there's stretches up ahead that are worse. They stay in the shade and they stay snowy, so there's going to be a decent amount of snow on there. Still good to get out on the bike path for a little bit for the first time in a long time though. So for the front rack, or kind of standoff thing, just to have a place to prop my, you know, Zeitgeist up, carrot ice style bag. I was looking at the racks like the, or standoffs like the Twisted Tea from Swood Cycles and a number of other ones like that. They, you know, they go where your spacers would, so it's kind of cool. I'll put one on screen. But what I realized is that's kind of a more, you know, not permanent, but permanent-ish solution. And since I do change this bike up, like I said, I end up putting a front rack for panniers on it in the summer. I wouldn't have the Zeitgeist on this bike in the front. When I mountain bike on this bike, I just run a half frame bag and put all my tools and one extra layer and snacks in there. So I wouldn't use it for that. So I ended up going with a Jack the Rack. I already have one and it just lives on my Rally, so it's already a known quantity to me. Since I got it, it pretty much stays on there. But if it does need to come off, they're so easy to take off. That's what I really like. So it makes sense for this bike. Also, if I take it off this bike, I could put it onto something else when I have the rack on here all summer. So I bought the first Jack the Rack I have from the Kickstarter. And if you're not aware of what they are, it's basically like a cantilevered system, and there's a really strong strap that goes underneath your stem, and that pretty much supports the weight. And then there's a strap around your stem this way, and that keeps it just from popping up on you. So pretty nifty. I've also used them without bags when I just want to strap something to the rack or something odd sized. Or when we were in New York and I didn't want to bag at all, I just strapped my musette to it, and then I could throw it over my shoulder and take it inside with me. So yeah, perfect for this time of year when I still want more capacity for layers going on and off than those first couple overnighters we'll do in late spring, and then probably take it off for the summer. And then the fall, like how me and Ben did the credit card tour and I just used 2 Zeitgeists on this bike, it would be perfect. That's really when I became unhappy with just having the Zeitgeist strapped to the head tube. It's just I have the spacers in there and they kind of sway over time and worry about scratching everything up. So I like this a little better. And I have seen some other racks that have come out that kind of have cantilever style that go on and off really easily. But like I already mentioned, I have a Jack the Rack, so it's a known quantity to me, and my bike shop sells them, so I was able to just walk in and buy it. That's always nice. 1, it's easy and convenient, and 2, I'm supporting them. I know they had a few production issues early on, and that they switched where they made them, I believe, since the Kickstarter. So I do want to look and just see if there's any noticeable differences between the 2 I have. But putting it on, everything felt great, and it's working just fine right now. And when I told Ben at the shop that I think I was going to buy a second Jack the Rack, you know, he said there's nothing wrong with double jacking. Yo, so that's gonna about do it for this one. Let me know if you have any questions that I could probably answer so far. Obviously know a lot more about Jack the Rack than I do about this Fender set yet. But also, if you do order anything from the store is just me. It's just me packing stuff up and shipping it out. So I don't close it down, but I won't be back till the Friday after this video comes out. So, just an FYI. I hope you're getting some nice weather wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.